Welcome to Legal Marketing Happy Hour.
Welcome back to Legal Marketing Happy Hour, where you can find tactical insights to help law firms grow smarter, faster, and more profitably. I'm your host, Leanne Lyon. Joining me today is Colby Owens, local SEO strategist at Above the Bar Marketing. In this episode, we're talking about authority, the kind that helps your firm show up, stand out, and stay ahead. From backlinks and community mentions to credibility signals Google actually cares about, Colby will break down how to build local authority that drives real leads. This is episode 8, Local Links and Authority, Building Trust Signals That Google Actually Values. Colby, how would you explain the difference between general SEO authority and local authority? Why does that distinction matter for law firms?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. And it's definitely a distinction that you want to know. They intertwine, they definitely affect each other, but the strategies are two totally different types of strategies. So, to kind of put it simply, you can think of traditional SEO as your top to funnel visibility within your industry. So, it's going to be your overarching authority in your industry nationwide, worldwide.
Okay.
Now, with local SEO, it's similar, but it's just within your local community. So you can kind of think of it as a 60-mile radius, maybe 120-mile radius if you do the type of practice area that covers statewide. But you can look at it as really just being the how effective you are in your local market. Now, the big difference between the two is with traditional SEO authority, there's domain authority, there's a number that you can look at. There isn't really a number that these tools, SEO tools out there use that you can specifically say, okay, we're at a 70 out of 100 right now for local authority. It is a lot more relative to what your competition is than traditional SEO, mainly just because with traditional SEO, you're going for these large, high volume, very competitive keywords, such as like what to do if I got in a car accident. And local SEO, you're targeting this less difficult keyword to show up for, just because Google's only going to show the law firms or whatever business your industry's in within like a 60-mile radius, you can say. So there's they definitely intertwine with each other, but they have two totally different strategies, and I'm sure we'll get into that today. But yeah, that's the main two. They have two different ways of reporting. I like to look at it as local SEO. You're trying to really pound that bottom funnel keywords, like lawyer near me. And traditional SEO, you're covering top to bottom funnel. So you're targeting the informational kind of, maybe they just got in a car wreck. Maybe someone's just kind of curious about what you should do if you do get in a car wreck or your home gets broken into, all the way down to those keywords that are gonna intertwine with the local, like criminal lawyer near me, personal injury lawyer near me.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, we know that a lot of law firms rely on directory listings for backlinks. Why isn't that enough? And what types of local links actually improve visibility and rankings today?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's kind of the gem in local SEO. So you want to start out as a baseline as being listed on all these major directories in whatever industry you're in. We're legal specific, so like super lawyers, fine law, although all of those major directories that are usually on the first two pages of Google, you want to make sure you're in there and listed. Google likes to see that. They have high authoritative websites, which will help your local SEO and just overall SEO. But the main thing, and this is where you begin to see success within local SEO, is when you start targeting these local directories, like local associations, chamber of commerces. Um, Google will look at industry-wide directories, but they put a very big emphasis. Of course, if it's a person that is doing a search for a near me type search, personal injury lawyer near me, they put a lot. Google will go in and look at all the local directories because they just want to have confidence that you are practicing locally. Because that's, I'm sure a lot of people in this space know that these major directories, they can just get flooded. Um, and since there's so many profiles out there on these websites, it's you want to differentiate yourself. And you do that with local directories, associations, chamber of commerces, and then some other things that we like to do for our secret sauce, I'll say.
Well, secret sauce it is, and that's an important part of what you're doing for sure. How can a firm earn high quality backlinks without appearing spammy? Because backlinks are important, we get that, but it can feel a little spammy or transactional sometimes.
This is also kind of a gold mine question. Um, this is the secret sauce, like I just said. So it's a balancing act, you can try and say, or that's how I see it, as a balancing act between not being too spammy. You want to get listed everywhere, you want to be on every single law firm directory that there is out there, but you don't want to seem spammy. And I like to look at it as just really going all in on the local directories that I was just talking about. Now, obviously, if you got your baseline, you're listed on all like the national directories, and then you're also listed on all these local chamber of commerce's associations. So you're like, okay, where do I go from here? I kind of filled out everything. That's when you can start going in and either doing fundraisers, or one thing that we have done in the past with our clients is just reaching out to the news sources or PR companies that are in your area, and maybe there's a new law that was passed that they would want to get your perspective on.
Right.
That's a great way of doing it. It'll create a nice organic article that hopefully the news source posts on their website. Just make sure you get that link back. If you don't, it's not the worst thing. But at least make sure that they include the name of your business in there.
Definitely going to get back to that for sure. But besides the backlinks, what other signals help Google trust a firm's online presence? Things like citations, reviews, are they community engagement? You kind of just mentioned that.
So reviews is king. And you can see that if you do a search in your area, law firm near me, personal injury lawyer near me,
Mhm.
a lot of the time the ones that's going to pop up in the map pack are the ones with the most reviews. That second and third spot on the map pack can kind of shift around. Google will give these other new businesses or just businesses that haven't been around for a while, maybe just 5 or 10 years, that have a lot lower review count than these major law firms out there. They'll interweave them in the map pack. Um, but reviews is king. Also, citations. When I think citations, it's honestly very similar to just backlinks because that's, in my eyes, that's how Google looks at it. It's just a citation is just another mention of your site on, or another mention of your site on another site. So it's very similar to a backlink, but reviews definitely king. You want to get citations out there just like backlinks. Interweave those two together. You can do a very similar strategy for getting citations as you can for getting backlinks. Within like the past 2 years has just been recency. So making sure that if you're posting blog articles on your website, make sure that they're linked to your Google business profile so that they're coming through right when you post them on your website, that we posted to your Google business profile so that Google can see that this law firm, they are active, they are practicing, they're trying to give information out there. And obviously, the information that you're going to give out there, that might be the traditional on page SEO's job and not yours, but definitely work together with him to because usually the local SEO they'll have a lot more knowledge within that 30-mile radius than the traditional SEO, you could say. So work together with your traditional SEO and your local SEO when you're creating those blog posts just to make sure that you get mentions of small, maybe suburbs or towns that are right within your area. So you want to get those blog posts out there. You want to get these mentions of all of these local towns and areas, kind of to prove your validity and that you know the area that you're in. And then you want to post those on the Google Business Profile as an update so that Google will just see that the Google Business Profile it's active. So we should show them in return.
Now we're going to switch a little bit to asking a little secret sauce question. What is your process for keeping NAP consistency across the web? And what struggles continue to come up if there are any?
Yeah, so this is definitely a big part of local SEO. You want to
Mhm,
go out there, you want to get these new citations, these new backlinks
mhm,
pointing to your website and your Google Business Profile. But a big part of it is in this conversation, for local SEO and for traditional, I'm gonna probably say Google trustworthiness a lot because you're trying to get the idea in Google's head or in Google's algorithm, I should say, that you are a trustworthy site that is an expert in your area. So when you're building these backlinks and citations, it's great. But a huge part of local SEO is just making sure that all of these existing citations and backlinks out there are correct. Um, we know in this space, law firms are changing their names all the time. They're moving offices a good amount. And with each office change and name change, phone number change, website change, of course, you want to make sure you go back to all of the backlinks and citations um, and correct all of those. Now, us how we do it at Above the Bar, we partner with Bright Local, and right when a law firm, if they come in and they have a name change, we'll
mhm.
run a report with Bright Local, and they have a list of 30 major citations. Yext is also a platform that a lot of agencies use, and it does a very similar thing. But where we go above and beyond at Above the Bar, so we really truly are above on the local side, is outside of Yext, Bright Local, just these softwares that automatically go and do it for you. There's probably they're probably missing 60 citations out there of your law firm that are on these smaller websites that might not be managed all the time. So what we do and for someone listening that's looking to improve this part, just their nap consistency across the web, they might not like my answer, but we really just get in the weeds. We go out, we find each citation, and then we contact that website and we essentially just bug them until they listen to us. So, and if it takes around 2, 3 weeks and we don't hear back after 4 emails, then hopefully, most of the time, around 80% of the time, I'd say, you can go in and claim that profile. But
Oh,
you'll need the assistance of the law firm. So we try and give it 3 to 4 weeks of us just manually going in and just contacting these websites, trying to get these, annoying them until they fix these profiles to how they should look. If they do not respond, which a lot of these smaller websites, sometimes they don't respond. Sometimes
mhm.
the owner of the website maybe just checks that email once a month. Then we'll reach out to the firm. We'll try and set up a time to get these citations fixed by claiming the profile, usually with like a phone verification.
Interesting. That is fascinating. So, turning back to something you said earlier, you said that, sponsoring community events for or charities, what's the best way to turn that local involvement into real SEO value?
And it's pretty simple. It's kind of just what you think you would do. There's nothing too there's really no secret sauce, I should say, for this one. But if you fund a fundraiser or a charity event, I like to just ask the business or whoever we worked with to do that if they would be willing to post an article They could either write it or we could write it, peer review it, send it off to them. If they don't want to post it on their site, then let's write that article, post it on your site, but just make sure that you link to whoever the other websites or businesses that you worked with in that article.
Well, that
Oh,
sounds
one more thing too, actually. Just make sure that you put the location, the date in there as well, just so that Google can read when this happened and where it happened.
cool. And how can law firms monitor whether their link building efforts are actually improving their authority?
Yeah, so you can gauge it just off of traditional domain authority. But if you want to gauge it fully just on local, I like to use grid maps. I like to just look, which a grid map, it just shows you your visibility in specific points, and you can go in and put, I want to see where I show up for personal injury lawyer on 16th and Walnut Street. And that's how I like to gauge how you're really doing local authoritative wise, because it's all relative to the businesses. But to keep it simple, you can go to Ahrefs, SEMrush, you can use these SEO tools, and they'll keep track of all the backlinks that are coming to your site, so you can see a graph going upwards or downwards to see what links you're gaining and losing.
Perfect. Well, one last question as we wrap up today's episode. If a firm wants to raise its local authority starting this month, what's one practical high impact action that they can take?
First, create your Google Business Profile if you don't have one.
Mhm.
Then, after that, I would hope that you would have a Google Business Profile. Go to the Chamber of Commerce's, your local associations, just make sure you're listed on there, and then go to the nationwide kind of big powerhouses of lawyer directories and make sure you're listed on there as well. That's where I would start. It's the quickest way to start, and it's kind of like the baseline for your local SEO.
Well, perfect. Thank you, Colby. And that is it for today's episode of Legal Marketing Happy Hour. Big thanks to Colby Owens for showing us what real local authority looks like and how law firms can build it in the right way. If your firm is ready to strengthen its SEO foundation and stand out in local search, visit abovethebarmarketing.com. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review if you found today's episode helpful.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.